Hello. It's gonna be like up in the upper 80s today. It's lovely Tuesday. Um, I was listening to them about their Million Man March. Uh, them going about uh, trying to evoke some type of unity, and it makes me think that when you hear a lot about the Great Crusades when it comes to dividing and conquer, as the white man did, and his biggest essence was that because of the way they were living, the cannibalism that happened in the jails in France and Britain and Spain because of the incarceration, incarcerate, like jailing the whole family in debtors' prison, uh, and all the land that produced the food had belonged to the queen. And in some ways, we see the same thing happening with our big corporations. And I think that we have been divided and conquered as a society, uh, as you see in the Middle East, where the wars going on and they're tearing down monuments and historical stuff, basically erasing the past. When you erase the past, good and bad, indifference, uh, you're leaving a younger generation with a hole in it. It doesn't deal with reality. Things doesn't fit for them. Things aren't just fitting proper. And then you mix in other type of things as a war, as in whooping your kids, as in jeopardizing women, as in pedophiles, as in torture, uh, uh, and then environmental hazards caused by war, be it chemical spills, no, uh, buildings crumble on you, or just just contaminated water from either like just mixing with the sewer after a bomb. There's so many things, earthquakes and all these other things that humans go through, and then when you compound it uh, with other issues, I think sometimes we get damaged people, and then I think that we're seeing the result of it in some of the ways, and the like Ebola, HIV, and other sexually transmitted diseases, hepatitis. I think we have to be careful when we tattoo and who we get our tattoos from, because that's one way. Um, uh, um, Diabetes, um, and then all the symptoms that arise from those different cancer, um, autism for our children, and Asperger's, and numerous other things. We're at a point now that I think it's important that we realize and that we see that as a unity we would be stronger than as was going on with the Great Crusades, where they divide and conquer, where they went and all the land was then divided up amongst the kings of France, London, uh, uh, Spain, and then you have the ones that started it, uh, like uh, like the Romans and the Vaticans started the great rape, pillage, and divide. And you can see the divisions, how they've done it, like in Germany, how they've done it still to this day in Korea. Um, it weakens the country. When you look at Vietnam and what went on in that war, and how it was a war where they ended up just napalming and killing the forest. These people were indigenous to the land, lived off the land, and didn't have to buy their stuff from corporations. But the first thing they introduced to these people is a slavery and capitalism known as the sex industry and the drug industry. You know, but that's their quick fix for money. And now you see they're in the manufacturing and how our jobs went overseas. You could see, like in the car industry, how Detroit Once the black people, they made it like in 1978. They made the marijuana laws where you had to get tested to work at a job, you know, to where like marijuana stayed in your system at least 28 days. Crack or cocaine stayed in your system like 2 hours. So if you weren't smoking marijuana, you could still be a crackhead and get a job on the early onset in '78 when the laws sort of changed, and we had Oliver North testifying that the United States government, the CIA, was bringing in money. And that's another thing. We don't have intelligence group. We don't have a CIA like we need. They go down to Brazil or South America. What do? They just go right into having sex, you know. And a lot of that is a parasite of syphilis and other things that, you have to feed the beast. And that's with the certain body fluids, saliva, uh, vagina, even anal type of fluids, that's sort of there, which carries other bacterias. Uh, that also cause hepatitis and be harmful. So all these things we do need have to worry about, and we're misguided in where sometimes we direct our anger. That we do have to work on, like one of the things is the school system, the justice system. You know, we're in violated of our constitutional rights, our Fourth Amendment, our Second Amendment, our uh, all the amendments really were in jeopardizing and losing what our forefathers have fought for. If you listen to people that are flying those constitutional flags, they just as cuckoo and crazy as they want to be, because our forefathers fought for the justice, freedom, and the American way, and to have so many of our youth dropping out of school because our school system is so screwy. If they get extra money for the schools, it goes in putting cameras and metal detector. It doesn't go into teachers' salaries or the food they eat. It goes into more computers in the class. We might get sidestepped and not have ourselves focused on what the real purpose is, that we want to educate these kids so they can have jobs, like I alluded to about the Detroit. Look, once the car industry got unionized out by a bunch of white folks coming over and basically being jealous because black folks can afford to buy clothes and eat food, the same way they are today. We're trying to tax Social Security and food stamps, the very basic shelters. But anyway, what happened there? The car American car industry got kaput, got destroyed, and it went overseas. And with all the rebates that we have from cars, they do not make cars like black people make cars. They think they don't need black people, but our infrastructure is crumbling. It's being the laws, and even uh, uh, the policemen need to be reprogrammed, because the propaganda that has been fed to them in their training is that of self-destructive and causing more harm to our society. We have to relook and go back to thinking, and having people that are more invested uh, in the long run, and have some idea of being able to see past their ass, even with both hands tied behind their back. Because these motherfuckers can't. It's not about the sharp there. I mean, like here we had a mayor, A.W.C. Ward. Before he left office, he made sure this one girl got $88,000 grant, so the police could, the cameras they know how to that they got, so they can learn how to use the camera. All these policemen probably have phones that have cameras in them. Have used a camera, disposable, Polaroid, Canon, well, anyway, they probably have seen cameras. They're nothing new. They've been around for quite a few centuries now. But anyway, so we have this mindset to where it's okay to misappropriate money that goes to the school. It's like if the police get money or a grant or something, also not only does the school not put the money back into the school in a way that it's educating our kids, but like with the police, if they get extra money, well, they get new cars and they hire more policemen, or they buy tanks and militarize their stuff. They're not getting the pay raise. with as much money as they paid on those cameras that the police here in Memphis are not using, and the new Dodge cars and all this other shit that they bought in the years that I've been here, they could have got a 30%, $30,000 a year increase over that, to add up to that, or just maybe a 15, you know, thousand increase, and had their health insurance and had their medical insurance paid, but that other money was being misappropriated. And we're not following the line. Where is this money being misappropriated? Because I guarantee you, I don't see it in the black community. And if a few black people get a couple of kibbles and bits, why there's other people making billions a day, other people making $210,000 a year, you know, uh, 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 and just giving them kibbles and bits. Or some of them like the Iraq child. Basically they stole money from Russia. Russia, with your financial problem and you always want to go to war because they got a lot of people, what I'm saying, they still got to grab, they got to go to war. So this is, but anyway, I think we're not really directing the issue, and the issue is that we need to be more united. Men and women need to be more united. You know what I'm saying? They always think like, oh, back in the old days, women had this part and that part. No, 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 no. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, maybe like if you was pregnant and you couldn't really bend down and do a lot of stuff, it was, you guys work together. Men actually do better with one mate, okay, and they work more of a unity, and then they work in the community more of a unity. That's how they was able to build the Great Walls of China. That's how they were able to build the pyramids, because women were put up more of a higher standard in some incidents because they were carrying tomorrow. So maybe yeah, they brushed back and maybe sewed some clothes together and had something in a brick wooden oven or something, cook it on a pot, cook it. Yeah, maybe she couldn't gather, and maybe the man gathered more. Maybe what I'm saying. He might want, what I'm saying, because when they all went out and gathered, they all did some hunting. If he saw some rabbits, he brought some rabbits home. If she saw some rabbits, she brought some rabbits home. They saw some. One might see deer, one might see rabbit. You know what I'm saying? And they knew how to, like the jerky and preserve and all type of stuff. They had a knowledge of metal. But anyway, I think that we have gotten out of our unity. And I think we start our unity at home with men and women and our children. Keep it simple. All right.